Good morning, Miss Ali. It's so good to see you again. Last time we met for our last data meeting, we were looking at bi-weekly 8th, and we saw that our students struggled with question 11. The standard tested there was 7.2, which was to determine the central idea of the text and analyze the development of the course of the text. When the students took the test, they got 56% mastery on this particular question, on this particular standard. We saw the need for a reteacher, and on Thursday you did your reteacher, and I saw that the data changed drastically. 88% of our students were now mastering this skill, right? That means 88% of them were getting 3s and 4s. So that is really, really good work, excellent job. Can you tell me what it is that you did that led to this change?
Well, I think my think alouds for the students that really helped them to map the steps that was needed to break the question down. The gap that I saw in the class was that the kids weren't understanding what the question was asking. So when I used the think aloud to break the question down, they were able to follow my steps, my lead, and I think that helped quite a bit.
All right, nice. All right, so today what we're going to do, last week your students on Tuesday and Wednesday, I believe you all took the IA. And when they took the IA, the data looked fantastic. 97.7% mastery, getting 3s and 4s. So if someone looks at data like that, it's just natural for us to say, you know what, that's an excellent report. We don't need to do anything further. Let's just move on. But when we went into Illuminate and we looked at the matrix for this test, we saw that on question 18, only 51% of our students got that question correct. That means 49% of our students got it incorrect. They could not answer that question. So we are seeing that there is some kind of learning gap there. So I'm gonna give you 30 seconds to just go over that question. If you could just review the question for me. So take 30 seconds to just review that question. All right. This particular question, question 18, is actually assessing the student's ability to understand text structure and organization, specifically how sentence placement affects clarity and logical flow in the paragraph. Right, that's actually testing standard 7.5. Yeah. All right. So in the effort to save time, I went ahead and I created a detailed know and show chart for this particular standard.
Okay.
Right? It's a detailed chart. What I want you to do, I want you to look at the know and show chart. I want you to think about question 18, and I want you to kind of let's select which know and which show would be specific to question 18.
Okay.
Yeah, so just remember, this is a very a broad know and show, right? So we just want it to be specific to question 18.
All right. So question 18 is asking about where should sentence 3 be best moved in the first paragraph. So when you look at this, you want to make sure there are certain things that the students should need to understand. So one, definitely text structure. All right. So I think for this should be a good one for question 18. They should be able to understand how the text is organized, and to be able to show that there should be should have identified the text probably through the genre and the GBTGs, right? The next thing that I think that would be relevant to this question will be the purpose of the structure again. So this will be question 18 again, and they should also be able definitely knowing and transition. All right, more than anything else, this know is relevant to, well, I should say question 18 is testing this know. Now in terms of showing what they need to show, they should have definitely, again, they should be able to show the sentence placement. So they should be able to decide where the sentence belong in the paragraph for best flow. And I would want to add here understanding as well.
Okay.
Right? So these are my, if I have to really identify what is relevant to question 18 alone from this no and throw chart, I would choose these.
Okay, very good, excellent. I have those also. Thank you so much. All right, now that we are aware of what our scholars need to know, what they need to show in order to reach mastery, let us create our teacher exemplar, right? So this is very important for us to have a very strong teacher exemplar. So let us create our teacher exemplar. I'm going to give you 3 minutes. All right, Miss Ali. So now that we have our exemplar, would you like to start? Okay. Right, wonderful. So we have our whys and our why nots, and we unpacked our prompt. It's very, very similar.
Yeah.
Is there anything you want?
Our whys and why nots are very similar.
Okay, good. All right, so let's so now that we have our teacher exemplar, what would you identify as the criteria for success?
Okay. So I would look at the annotation and how they annotated the question. And so the student should be able to state in the question that sentence 3 is a summary type of sentence or a concluding type of sentence. And I would also say that their why should explain the best fit that the best fit for sentence tree is based on the fact that the sentence is a conclusion type of sentence, and your why nots should also say why the sentence do not connect with the other ideas or details in the paragraph. So that for me will be my criteria for success in this particular question.
Okay, so now we have the criteria for success. We're going to look at some student exemplars, and we're going to see where the learning gaps are. You just get so we're going to look at the CFS, and we're going to compare it to the student's exemplar, and we're going to just try and identify where the learning gaps are. Okay? And I'll give you 3 minutes. Alright, so 87 students took this test. 44 students were able to get the correct answer, right? 43 students got it incorrect. So what do you think? We got the CFS. What do you think is the gap, the learning gap? What caused our students not to be successful?
So I think generally we would say that half the class is struggling with figuring out where the sentence belongs in the paragraph, just to make sure that it flows smoothly. Based on what I saw with their annotations, those who did attack the prompt, they're not sure where the sentences go to make the ideas connect, and in addition to that, I don't think they understood what was the purpose of sentence tree. So that would be their major gap. They didn't understand, the function or the purpose of sentence tree.
That it was a conclusion sentence.
Yeah.
All right. So now that we have that understanding, we have to do a reteach. There are different options for reteaching. What reteach option do you think is best suited for this standard, this skills the students need to acquire?
So given the fact that you just said that almost I think it was 51% got it correct.
Yeah.
That means 49% did not get it correct. So that's too close to half to 50%. So I would suggest that I would prefer actually that we do a model so that we make sure that everybody gets it.
All right. So I agree with you, and I already went ahead and created my teacher model. I'll give you 7 minutes if you could start working on your teacher model for your reteach.
Okay.
So you can have a look at mine also if you need to.
Is this it here?
Yeah.
This is yours, right? This is your teacher model. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
If it is that you finish with your model before, we can start the practice, okay?
Okay.
Yep. Okay. All right. So let us just exchange and see if there's anything you would like to borrow. I could borrow from yours. I know you were telling me that you were interested in doing an anchor chart. I think it's a good idea at the end of the lesson, so you kind of reinforce all the steps for the kids, because sometimes they're so distracted.
Okay.
And it's good to kind of recap and to you know
Okay. I
summarize
understand. Yeah.
what it is that was done.
Definitely.
Okay, good.
Mm-hmm. I like how you I want to adjust just this piece here because I like how you named your step in your model. So I think I would do that too in my think aloud. So I just want to give me 2 minutes to just identify the steps properly so that the kids, it'll be easier for them for their think alouds. Yeah. Okay.
All right, Miss. Okay, so do you want to do the
Well,
reteach? Try the reteach, yeah.
Miss, I don't want to, but
All right.
Okay.
You're welcome.
Okay, guys. So first of all, let me start by congratulating you. You guys did so well on your IA4. Our wheel looks really good. There's a lot of blues and greens. So I'm very, very proud of you. You make my heart feel very, very nice this morning. There's one thing though, that when we looked at the data, we saw that there's one question that gave you all some problems. On question 18, only 51% of you got it right. And because of that, I want to make sure that we all get it right. Okay? So today I'm going to model for you the steps that I would use to figure out where the sentence belongs in a paragraph. Alright? So you have been given a worksheet with question 18 together with the paragraph. And I want you to follow along as I am modeling. Alright? So whilst I am modeling my think alouds, you will write down the steps that I use to figure out where the sentence belongs in the paragraph. So this is my model. So the first step is to read the question and the relevant sentence carefully. So I'm going to read question 18. Where should sentence 3 best be moved in the first paragraph? So I'm going to go to sentence 3. This is sentence 3. I'm going to underline it just to make sure that I have the correct sentence. That's why so many movie makers choose it for filming. So now that I have read the question and I've read the sentence, my second step is to determine the purpose of the sentence. So what is this sentence doing in the paragraph? What is its job? All right? So when I look at the phrase, there's this phrase that catches my eye. That's why. All right? So the use of the phrase, that's why, it tells me then that a reason should have gone before. All right? So the sentences that went before should have told me the reasons why movie makers choose Ghost Ranch for filming. Now, this tells me that if movie makers it's giving me reasons why movie makers are choosing our Ghost Ranch for filming, then it means that should be at the end, because you're giving me a list of reasons and then you're going to tell me why. Okay? So if it comes at the end, then I would say that sentence 3 is a concluding type of sentence. All right? And I'm even going to write it here in my annotation. And when I attack my prompt, I am going to write sentence 3 is a concluding sentence, or what we call end. All right? So conclusion is just a big word for end. Okay? So it's a concluding type of sentence. My next step is to read my paragraph slowly and to think about what is the purpose of each part of the paragraph and each sentence. So when I go to my paragraph, I'm going to read the first part, which is my title. All right, Ghost Ranch, a place for movie magic. Now my title tells me that this is going to be my topic. All right, it has to do with Ghost Ranch and its connection with movies. So this is the purpose of the title. Then I go to sentence 1. Ghost Ranch is in the northern New Mexico and it's one of the most beautiful places in the Southwest. So this first part, this first sentence, sentence 1, is what it's giving me, is telling me about location, And it's also telling me that Ghost Ranch is beautiful. It's a beautiful place. So then I can say here that that sentence 1 is introducing the main idea for the paragraph, or the main idea about the topic. Alright? And then I go on to sentence 2. Red cliffs, blue skies, desert land stretch as far as you can see. Now this goes on. Sentence 2 tells me about the beauty of Ghost Ranch. That's why so many movies makers choose it for filming. Ghost Ranch has been used in westerns, adventure films, and even sci-fi movies. The land looks like it belonged in the past, and in the future. It's the kind of place where stories come to life. Now, all of these sentences 2, sentence 4, sentence 5, and sentence 6 gives me more reasons or more details for why movie makers are choosing Ghost Ranch for filming movies. So then I can say then that these other sentences that comes after the introduction sentence is what we will call supporting sentences. So I just want to stamp in my mind what are the 3 different types of sentences that I saw here. I saw that we have sentence 1, which is an introduction sentence that introduces the main idea about the topic in the paragraph. I see sentences 2, 4, 5, and 6 as supporting sentences where they give further details about the main idea. And then I have sentence 3, which is a concluding type of sentence. Okay, so now comes I have figured out the different types of sentences and the function of the sentence. So now comes my last step. All right, so my last step is to test the sentence in each spot so that I can see which is the best spot. So I'm going to move my sentence around and I'm going to read it now to see which is the best spot. So option A tells me then that it goes after sentence 1. So when I read sentence 1, obviously if it's after, I'm going to read sentence 1 and then put in my sentence 3. Ghost Ranch is in the northern New Mexico and it's one of the most beautiful places in the Southwest. That's why so many movie makers choose it for filming. Now, I can tell you right away that it is definitely not option A, because sentence 1 is an introduction sentence and it introduced the main idea, all right? And we cannot have a conclusion sentence because there's not enough details as why why so many movie makers are choosing Ghost Ranch as a place to stay, to film. Now we go to option B. Option B says after sentence 4, so I'm going to read the sentences that come before 4 just to make sure, all right? So sentence 4 is here, so I'm going to read the sentences that just come before because we know sentence 4 is a supporting detailed sentence. Red cliffs, blue skies, and desert land stretch as far as you can see. Ghost Ranch has been used in western adventure films and even sci-fi movies. That's why so many movie makers choose it for filming. Now that sounds really good because it gives you a reason, the details gives you the reason. But then when I move forward to sentence 5, the land looks like it belongs in both the past and the future. So when I think about it, so even though this looks good here, the sentences, sentence 5 gives you another reason. So we can't have a beginning, an end, and then we start again. All right? So because of that, we can say then that it's not, that sentence B is not the option, because if we cannot have, we cannot end our sentence, end our paragraph, and then continue with more details. Now, when I look at after sentence 6, it says, it's the kind of place where stories come to life. That's why so many movie makers choose it for filming. When I look at it, I see sentence 1 introduces the topic. All the other sentences here gives me details, and then it summarizes, or it concludes or ends as to that's why, which refers to all of the details that make Ghost Ranch beautiful. So I can say that option C, it could be the best option, but we must go on. We don't stop there, right? So we go to option D. Option D says before sentence 1. Can I have an end before we start? No, that is not possible. So if we have the conclusion sentence at the beginning of the paragraph, then there's no paragraph. Okay, so right away, without me even reading any of these sentences, I can say that option D. So in summary then, when we go back, we can stamp and say that option C is the best option. So that's the end of my Think Aloud model. What steps were you able to identify? What did I do first? And that's the end of my model.
Thank you so much, Miss Ali. Thank you so much. That was really, really a good job. You're really a wonderful teacher.
Thank
I
you.
was very interested in that lesson. Okay, so I love how you, I took some notes here, but I was just so into the lesson. What's going on here? Yes.
Yeah, that's okay. Go ahead.
All right. So I love how you you unpacked the question. I love how you highlighted all the steps. You made it very clear to the students. I'm on step 2, step 1. So you got their attention. So if they're not paying attention, you got their attention there. Your whys and why not were in spot. You did very good. Strong whys and why not. I love how you use your X to cross out the answers that were incorrect, and you use a tick to show the one that you believe was the correct answer. So there were a lot of wonderful bright spots in that lesson. You explained very clearly different parts of the paragraph and the importance of the different sentences, the purpose of the different sentences. Just little things like I remember I had done a model like this, and I said so this is me. I'm taking off the teacher hat and I'm putting on the student hat. So I am going to be a student, and I'm going to model for you how I as a student am going to tackle this question. So that's just something that I would have done, so I remember that. Let's save time. Also, when you're speaking, sometimes we don't know that we have certain habits that we do, right? And you keep putting your hand in front of your mouth like this, so the voice, so we have to be conscious of those little habits that we have in the classroom.
Yeah.
Okay? And when we're thinking, you let them see that you're thinking. I saw you doing it.
Yeah.
That's right? All right. So good. So let's go to the, I'm very excited to see you do this reteach again. So let's go to our next steps. I think you finished script the lesson, and if you didn't, you could do your, finish the script, and I will be there to see you do the reteach on Thursday, May 15th. You'll tell me which period you want me to come to.
Miss, you can come anytime.
Okay, good. And as soon as you collect the data, if you could just share it with Miss Amanda and myself.
Okay, no
Right.
problem.
So thank you so
15th of
much.
May, right?
Yes.
15 May. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
So thank you so much
welcome.
for being here and for being so accommodating. And have a wonderful day.
Thank you.